Hello YouTube, I'm here to rank all 6 of the SpongeBob movies that we have as of early 2026. I just recently reviewed the Search for SquarePants movie, the most recent one, and I had to sit with them for a minute before I could really rank them. I went and rewatched all the movies, they're fresh on my mind, I can put them in their place. I'll start at number 1 and work my way down, taking the top spot. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. It is the SpongeBob movie, the original, 2004. You can't beat the classic. It's really one of the definitive pieces of the SpongeBob world. It wraps up those first 3 seasons perfectly. A lot of people feel that should be where the show ends because it's just such a fitting conclusion. It brings everything full circle. The movie's tight. It does everything you want it to do, really. I don't think any SpongeBob movie that comes in the future will ever be able to top this movie. It's really a perfect movie in my eyes. You can watch it over and over and over again, still get laughs out of it, still feel the emotional beats of it. We have SpongeBob who thinks he's gonna get a promotion, he doesn't get it. He goes on this whole self-discovery journey, and at the end, he does get the promotion, and it ends with him jumping in the air. Oh, it's really a classic, and for good reason. Just, the crown is secured. What more is there for me to really say that hasn't already been said? I love the movie. I love all the movies on this list to some degree. Not as fondly as this first one, but there's something to love in all of them, for sure. Number 2 is where I started to feel a little conflicted, but a rewatch helped me out. I originally wanted to put another movie in the number 2 spot, but then I rewatched Sponge Out of Water, the second SpongeBob movie, and I said, that's number 2. So I guess so far we're just going in release order. One thing that both the first and second movie have in common that the other 2 movies drop is they are prominently in 2D. Let's just throw that out there. 2D animation absolutely works for a SpongeBob movie. They're able to play in the same world and just expand on certain topics. I wish we could continue with SpongeBob 2D movies. But let me get off my high horse and just talk about this movie specifically. Chaos. That is how I would describe this movie. This movie went balls to the wall, threw everything at the viewer, and said, have fun. Embracing the chaos in a way allowed this movie to be hilarious. Wall-to-wall humor throughout. And you could never really predict what was happening next, honestly. And I guess it's hard for me to sit here and describe the plot of the movie, really, but I can tell you I had a good laugh. Plankton had a prominent role in this movie with SpongeBob. And I thought that was an interesting change from the first movie where Plankton was the big bad villain. This time he had to team up with SpongeBob a little bit, and Plankton's always gonna have his villainous tendencies. He did his villainous actions in this movie. But that was a very fun team up. Bikini Bottom fell into Apocalypse and everybody went wild. We had our time on land. We had our time with a talking dolphin. We did it all in this movie. And I think because I can't recall the plot so much, I kind of forgot it over the years. Like, I'd seen bits and pieces of the movie over the years, just as it airs. But I have not sat down and watched this movie in years. And sitting down to watch it, I watched it yesterday. Oh my gosh. I had a grand old time. I really did. And I was ready to just throw it on again and laugh all over again. I forgot just how funny the whole movie is. It won't come close to taking the number 1 spot at all because it does lack any of those emotional moments that I think the first movie had that really elevate it, that they were able to balance between the comedy. This movie went all out comedy. That serves its purpose. It's a fantastic movie. The number 3 spot, this one almost took number 2, and it is the Plankton movie. I reviewed this movie back when it dropped on Netflix. Big fan of this movie, still holds true to this day. I thought it looked really pretty and really distinct. They gave it a darker look than the other movies. Even in the opening sequence, they start with SpongeBob singing a SpongeBob song, and then they drastically switch to Plankton. And they're like, oh, no, we're not messing around in this movie. But even though it's called the Plankton movie, I think we should call it the Karen movie, because this movie really transforms Karen's character and brings full circle the development we've seen for her over the years on the SpongeBob show. We've seen her struggling so much with Plankton and Plankton not appreciating her. We've seen Karen go from just the computer in the wall to getting her own body to move around in and becoming more and more of her own character. And this movie really respected Karen and allowed her to break free from Plankton and be like, you don't respect me anymore, I'm gonna go full villain and show you I can do everything without you. And she became the villain of this movie. I was rooting for her. And we saw Plankton, who was supposed to be like the hero of the movie, we saw Plankton grappling with the fact that, oh, I'm just awful to everybody, including the computer who I should love more than anything in this world. And by the end of the movie, they're back in a loving romance. It's fantastic. And we have the Gal Pals in here too, who I just adore. One of the best additions to modern SpongeBob are the Gal Pals. I won't say I moved this movie down. Like, I think number 2 and number 3 on this list, it's basically a tie. But the one thing I'll have to hold against this movie a little bit is it was a little slower in the middle when we were like doing flashbacks, and when we were just with Plankton and SpongeBob. I think that section of the movie could have been a little bit funnier. And don't get me wrong, it was not unfunny. Like, SpongeBob, he had one of his funniest roles in the recent few movies. In this movie, I would say. I still think it was just something I could hold against this movie, and I can't really hold anything against the second movie. So I just had to put it like a scooch higher. But I would still say this movie had higher highs than Sponge Out of Water. It's just not as tight of a movie. Number 4 through number 6 is where I'm still kind of debating, honestly. I think for number 4, I'm gonna put the most recent movie, Search for SquarePants. This movie has its flaws. I'd say these last 3 movies have their flaws for sure. And I'd say the biggest flaw for this movie is I don't buy into the Flying Dutchman recast. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I made a full review on this movie too, so I won't sit on it too long. But just in the grand scheme of things, I think it's a little disrespectful to the overall SpongeBob universe, so I just have to knock that against it. But I think the movie overall, it does a lot for the relationship between SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs, a relationship that can often be pretty disrespectful, but they brought it to more of a father-son dynamic that I thought was really nice. I think this movie still kind of follows similar formats to, say, Sponge on the Run, or the Sandy Cheeks movie, where you can kind of see the same structure where we'd have a character, they'd have a breakthrough, they'd go on a journey, yada, yada, yada. Which is like a fine structure, but I think it really got to get samesies when they were all doing a 3D and we start to see more of these movies come out at the same time. But if I were to compare Search for SquarePants to any of the previous SpongeBob movies, I think I would compare it to Sponge Out of Water, in the sense that it had the same chaos. More than some of these other movies, I really did have some good laughs at this movie, and I think it had some strong sections. The main thing that's keeping this movie from ranking lower, though, is there's not too much, or there's not like any section of the movie I can really hold against the movie, which I can't say the same for the last 2 movies. So I'll move on to number 5, and at number 5, I have the Sandy Cheeks movie, Saving Bikini Bottom. I almost wanted to put this at number 4, but I really had to remind myself, like, wow, I did not like Sandy's family very much. On a rewatch, they were not as annoying as I remember. But they're still a little annoying, and that's still a slow spot in the movie for me. I think most people rank this movie dead last, but I know I have a particular bias to this movie because I'm a fan of Wanda Sykes outside of the movie. So seeing her play in the SpongeBob world and playing this mustache twirling villain and having this segment where we get her face cut on that child's body and she's telling her flashbacks, and it was high camp. It got so many laughs out of me. It still got so many laughs out of me on a rewatch. Oh, I just can't hate on it like everybody else does. Like, it was made for me. It was. And I do think it was really cool to see some Sandy focus, and I think this does help her character. Like, in the first 3 movies, Sandy didn't really have much going on, honestly. This time, she really did get to have a lot going on, and I think Sandy's a character who often gets pushed aside. I think Plankton tends to take her spot in like the core 5 characters sometimes, which I don't like. Sandy should absolutely be there. Like, we should have SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, but Sandy should be fourth in line. She should not be pushed aside for Mr. Krabs and Plankton. But you know, I did appreciate what Sandy's family served in the purpose of the movie more this time around, instead of just being like, oh, I'm really annoyed by these characters even existing, and there's too many of them. Like, once I got past that, I was able to appreciate how it was there to give us more of a push-pull for her in Texas and give her more of a character arc of how she's struggling, missing home. Ranking last in my rankings is Sponge on the Run. This was the 3rd SpongeBob movie, and it was our first 3D movie, which I have to say, I do think the 3D looks nice, but I'm also like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, and the 2D is fantastic. But whatever, I'm not like giving the movie less points for that. I'm just pointing it out. What I noticed most as I rewatched this movie is I'm not sitting here laughing very much. This movie got like maybe 2, 3 laughs out of me in the entire run. Most of them were from Patrick, so a good showing for Patrick, I guess. And I think this movie also had one of the most painful SpongeBob sequences that I've ever had to sit through, and that was the celebrity cameo sequence where we got Keanu Reeves and Snoop Dogg. I thought that was totally insufferable and a slog to sit through. And for that scene alone, I could really rank it last over the other movies. But I also do think there's a lot to love in this movie, and I think particularly the ending is very heartwarming. We got a lot of lovely character moments. The one that sticks with me most is we get Squidward saying he loves SpongeBob, and how could that not be an iconic moment? But we get that with every character as they come to SpongeBob's trial and come to SpongeBob's defense. Also, I think this movie's kind of retreading old stuff. Like, we have Gary go missing, and we've done that before in the show, and it's been very successful. Like, Gary come home, like, we did that before. We've been there, done that. It wasn't anything new or fresh this time. This movie just felt more stale than all of the other movies. If I'm in the mood for a SpongeBob movie, this is the last movie I'll reach for. Do I see myself reaching for it? Yeah. Will I skip over it? No. I don't think there's much fresh to this movie that I can't get elsewhere. So that's the end of my rankings. I look forward to talking more about SpongeBob soon. I'm ready for more episodes to air. It's been a minute, but yeah, there's much more to say on this show. I always got stuff to say about this show. So until next time, stay tuned. Bye.